The Family. Robert De Niro in a dark comedy. This is not King of Comedy though. That's one of the best 20 comedies ever. Perhaps one of the best 10 comedies ever. One of the best 100 movies in my book. They're supposed to stay and offer the show, but no. You can change the channel now. I mean, it's their show, but if they are so badly trained, they can't even sit still, never mind do tricks, talk. Well, they do say whenever they like some sudden things. So he's Fred Blake. Michelle Pfeiffer is Maggie. And they live in France because they're in a witness protection program. He has talked and given testimony against the gangster. He has been a mob boss. And he's now wanted by his former comrades in arms, of course. And let's just say there is a climax of sorts when there's a confrontation. All hell breaks loose, which you can expect, I guess, from this sort of film and from what happens. It leads that way. I'm not sure if it's a deja vu. I mean, they're cliches, but I think it's expected. This wasn't a spoiler alert. If it was, I'm sorry. So anyway, I said switch off damn thing or change the channel. So it was instead of spoiler alert. It's funny, not hilarious. It's not one of the most amusing films you've ever seen, but it does have quite a few moments. De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer are, of course, excellent. Tommy Lee Jones is not one of my favorite, but he has that hard face at times when he's really amusing. For instance, Fred Blake, pretends he's a writer. But as an American writer, he's invited by some professor in the French community to a cinephile reunion. They have a club with people that watch movies, les cinéphiles, something. And so he's a writer from America. That's a distinguished guest, and they will screen some movie. And he says, okay. It turns out it's Goodfellas. And he's invited to talk about it, and he starts talking about what is his own experience. But only Tommy Lee Jones, aka Agent Robert something, knows. Well, is life in New York like that? The French host asks, talk show host, small town. Well, you're watching, and then you see this guy, and then there's somebody else who comes and he starts talking about violence, about things which surely happen in his life, and he's eager to too much. And Tommy Lee Jones has that very upset, very hard, very serious, very dark face, but which is funny. What are you doing? Because he warned him. He told him again and again, and he knows he has to do everything to protect his cover. He's not supposed to say anything which is remotely connected with his former mob boss activity with what he's doing on stage is giving the whole game away in some ways. So that was really funny. They do all sorts of crazy things. He's kicking people. There's a plumber coming to fix the pipes. There's brown water coming from the from the taps. He doesn't like that. Obviously, nobody would. The plumber is not coming when he says when he comes sees later. So he beats him with a baseball bat. Then he goes up the chain to find where the problem with the water is, and there's a plant, and then he keeps kicking people. And Maggie is not much better. She said, "Why did you do that? How come wherever we go, markets, they don't have a supermarket, it's small towns, keep blowing off because she has this other thing, married to a monster. They have to have things in common, or all this in common. She puts small bombs or explosive. She likes to see things get off. Belle, their daughter, has the genes, and she, when something of her is missing, she kicks, and then she's invited by some colleagues, some ignorant fools, thinking they will press her into, I don't know, maybe even having sex, so in a way that this time violence is justified, as in self-defense. But then she goes beyond, that's also true. So kind of a drive. Instead of we'll take you home, instead of taking her home, they're in a place near the water, and then they start harassing her. She takes a badminton racket while her brother Warren is doing all sorts of deals, illegal, against the rules, immoral deals, taking, what do you want? Somebody wants a card with a Paris Saint-Germain player, so he's finding some, creating in a lab, falsifying, and then exchanging things. Okay, you get this and you give me the homework for, and then this guy, you don't give them the stereo they want, and things like that. And he gets into violence too, makes these guys kick these other guys. Funny, isn't it? Okay. Interesting. Not outstanding, but interesting.